contributions. For the last presentation of this session, the speaker is the lecturer Gyeyeon Park. I'm sorry for my bad pronunciation for the name. And now I will briefly read her biography. Gyeyeon Park holds a bachelor's degree in English literature and journalism from Korea University, a master's degree in cultural policy and management from City University London in the UK, and a PhD in visual culture from the Korea University. Over the past decade, she has worked as a government official in the South Korean Ministry of Culture, Sports and Tourism, overseeing the planning and operation of various exhibitions and cultural projects, including the establishment of the Asia Culture Center. Her areas of interest include museum collections and cultural mediation within museums. Currently, she is teaching as a lecturer at Korea University. And now I give the floor to Gyeyeon Park to make her presentation titled Examining Lee Kun-hee's Denotation of the Century from the Perspective of Actor Network Theory.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. I'm Gyeyeon Park. Firstly, I'm honored to have the opportunity to present today, and I would like to express my gratitude to all who prepare and participate in this meaningful symposium. Today, I'll be introducing to you the research I'm currently conducting. As this research is still going, I would greatly appreciate any valuable advice or insight from you. The title of my research is Examining Egon's Donation of the Century from the Perspective of Actor Network Theory. Let's begin. Okay. Do you know how many national art museums there are in Korea? There is only one national museum of modern and contemporary art in Korea, which consists of 4 branches. Over the past decades, it has been expanding with the establishment of branches in Seoul in 2013 and Cheongju in 2018. Then, how many works of art does this art museum hold in its collection? Of course, the mere number of artifacts isn't the most important aspect. The quality and value of the collection are more important. However, as of 2020, the MMCA had 8,782 works in its collection. This is a significantly small number compared to world-renowned museums like the Tate, Centre Pompidou, and MoMA, as you can see below. So what I'm trying to convey here is the challenging situation we were facing. And you must have heard of this person, Lee Kun-hee. He was a former chairman of Samsung Group and name known globally. He became the second chairman of Samsung Group in 1987, succeeding his father, Lee Byung-chul, and led the company. He was known for his philosophy of new management, which emphasized quality and innovation. In English, this can be described as a philosophy of premium quality or quality-first approach. This philosophy was not just about creating high-quality products, but also about fostering a culture of excellence and continuous improvement within the company, leading Samsung to become a global leader in various industries. In 2014, he collapsed due to a heart condition and spent several years receiving treatment in the intensive care unit of a hospital. Unfortunately, he passed away on October 25th, 2020. Not only did he build one of the world's leading conglomerates, but he also played a tremendous role in the cultural sector of South Korea. He is also renowned as a collector with a exceptional eyes. He owns museums like Hoam Art Museum and Lium. In the opening ceremony of the Lium in 2004, he left a remark saying, "Collecting and preserving cultural heritage is for the future of human culture, and I believe it is our generational duty." Lee prioritized acquiring high-quality pieces for his collection. He undertook the 100 National Treasures Collection project. It is said in the Korean art market that all good things go to Samsung. Several months later after his death, in April 2021, the family donated 23,000 pieces from his personal collection to 7 national and municipal museums. This was the largest donation in the history of Korea, valued at 2.37 billion US dollars, an amount so large that it's hard to grasp. As you can see here, 21,600 pieces were donated to National Museum of Korea, and about 1,488 to the MMCA, and the rest were distributed among various regional museums. This donation is remarkable not only for its quantitative scale, but also for its qualitative significance. The donated works encompass an extensive range of artworks that transcend geographical and temporal boundaries, including masterpieces from both Eastern and Western masters, regardless of their historical era. The collection comprises significant pieces, such as 60 pieces of nation-designated cultural properties. And the donation holds 460 pieces of Korean modern art. Last but not least, there are also artworks of Monet, Picasso, Chagall, Gauguin, Dali, etc., the masters of European modern art. Inside of this quantitative and qualitative scale, it's so natural to call this a donation of the century in Korea. Now, how about taking a look at what specific works were actually donated? This work is 인왕제색도, painted by a painter Chung Sun of the Joseon dynasty. He painted this when he was 76 years old, showing a mature and refined his own style of true view landscape. These true view landscape paintings were not just mere reproduction of real scenery. Through artistic reconstructions like distortion, enlargement, transformation, and reduction, they aim to capture the essential feelings and emotions that nature evokes. It is considered a masterpiece with estimates suggesting that this single piece is worth at least 40 million US dollars. And it's known to have been one of the first art pieces collected by Kun-hee and his wife Hee when they began art collecting in their age of 30s. And this painting, painted by the talented Joseon artist Kim Hong-do, is known as his last piece. The title is Sounds of Autumn, named after Woo Yang-shu's poem from Song Dynasty in China included. A poem says, "Stars and the moon shine bright, but there is no one around. The sounds come from between the trees." This is a part of a poem. It's very beautiful. This painting harmoniously blends with the poetry and quiet autumn scenery, with elements like the house, water, trees, and mountains, creating an emotional, tranquil atmosphere. And among the donated items, there are also gilt bronze Buddhist statue created in the 6th century. And this is a Korea Buddhist painting created in the 14th century. It's not clearly shown, but this Avalokitesvara has 42 arms and 11 faces. It's a painting that maximizes the compassionate power of the Bodhisattva Avalokitesvara, who saved sentient beings. As it was painted on delicate and fragile silk, it has faded over the centuries. And this is known to be the only one of thousand-armed kind from the Goryeo period that still exists today, making it an extremely valuable item. And this is a painting of Water Moon Avalokitesvara, and like other Goryeo Buddhist painting, it's very rare one as well. And now let's take a look at some Korean modern art pieces. This is Kim Han-ge's large, almost 6-meter wide painting. The topless woman, white porcelain jars, flying crane, and deer featured in this painting are motifs that Kim Han-ge often depicted from the late 1940s to the 1950s. Since Korea underwent Japanese colonial rule and wars in the first half of the 20th century, many of the artworks from this era were damaged or lost. Among the artworks that MMCA possessed, no more than 960 pieces were created before the 1950s. This Lee donation enabled MMCA to be supplemented its artworks from the modern period, which were difficult to possess due to their high scarcity. And I will skip these paintings. And additionally, Lee family considered the artist's origin and activity regions, contributing meaningful works to regional museums such as Gwangju Museum of Arts, Daegu Art Museum, and Paksugun Museum. So now I will examine the impact of this donation on the museum collection itself and its external influence. Let's start with the impact on the museum collection itself. NMK, since its establishment in 1945 until July 2020, had received 52,000 artifacts from 300 donors. Kun-hee contribution alone accounted for a substantial portion of this collection, representing 41% of all donated works. The volume of the donation is so substantial that it's predicted that it will take at least 2 years just to register all the donated items. And in the case of the MMCA, with the annual budget for acquisition approximately $4 million, it was estimated that it would take several hundred years to surpass the 10,000 items. However, this donation enabled MMCA to achieve a significant milestone by expanding its collection to over 10,000 items at once. Not only this, as I mentioned, it has filled the gaps in its modern art collection. And this donation enabled local museums to enrich their own collections and contribute to the art and culture of their respective regions. And the impact of the donation extended beyond the realm of museum collections. This substantial contribution resulted in increased museum attendance, heightened consumption of museum content across platforms such as YouTube, boosted sales of exhibition catalogs, and a surge in donation works. Due to time constraint, I will skip this, but impact of this donation on the museums and the Korean cultural sector has been truly significant. Despite the social distancing measures during the COVID pandemic, even people who had not visited museums previously lined up to see this exhibition like this. This is a view of the museum's waiting line towards the end of the exhibition. It is fully packed with people. So the question I aim to address in my research is this. Can the donation of this Lee Kun-hee collection be reduced to a decision made by human actors Lee Kun-hee and his bereaved family? The answer may easily seem to be no. Of course, numerous factors must have collectively contributed to the outcome of the donation, but I would like to explain this using the methodology of actor network theory. Actor network theory is a philosophical thought and sociological methodology that describes every entity in nature and society as a constantly changing relational network. ANT differs from traditional sociology, which attempts to explain phenomena using pre-existing social concepts. Instead, it uses an empirical methodology of following the actor, uncovering and capturing the collaborative role of various actors. This potential value makes ANT a suitable theoretical and methodological lens for understanding complex phenomena that are difficult to explain with conventional theories. One of the strengths of ANT is that it opens up these black boxes, allowing us to recognize the complexities within. When we say that the donation is a black box, we mean that it is a stabilized entity that is taken for granted as a single, coherent whole. Generally, many people center Lee Kun-hee and his family in his monumental donation, often overlooking other aspects. However, various overlooked actors become apparent when viewed through the lens of ANT. Yes, and these are the key concepts of ANT. First, generalized symmetry posits that all entities, human and non-human, are equally significant. This principle is based on assumption that the world is ontologically composed of heterogeneous network, not exclusively nor particularly guided by human actors. It includes not only humans, but also objects, technologies, machines, animals, nature, and even organizational, cognitive, and discursive elements in assembly. Second, ANT considers social phenomena as relational effects arising from interactions among these entities. The network in this context is not something that physically exists, but is a concept. According to Latour, the network is a tool for description, not the object being described itself. Using the concept of network, ANT described the dynamic and complex relationship and processes that constitute social phenomena. And thirdly, translation. Translation is a core concept of ANT. It's not about language, but rather ontological understanding of the process, where heterogeneous actors transform and align each other's interests to form new networks. This process is unpredictable, nonlinear, and involves actor being connected through persuasion, coercion, seduction, and resistance, often involving countless negotiations. So these are three concepts: generalized symmetry, relational effects, and translation will each be used to explain the case of the donation of the Lee Kun-hee collection, the often overlooked non-human actor, which is law, the donation event as a relational effect, and I will explain the concept of mutualization through the idea of deterritorialization and reterritorialization. First thing is the overlooked actor law. From an actor ANT perspective, it's essential to acknowledge law as a significant non-human actor. This is because the law functioned as an obligatory passage point in the transition of these artworks from the private ownership of Lee Kun-hee to the public domain of museum collections. From the time of his death, the collected works by Lee Kun-hee, regarded as an asset, similar to real estate, cash, and securities, become taxable entity. The bereaved family becomes the subject to taxation. So all of these actor must pass through the Inheritance Tax and Gift Tax Act. In fact, generally, within Black Box Museum, the law is an actor that is easily overlooked, but law is an absolutely indispensable element. To become a museum in South Korea, it's necessary to have firefighting facilities, evacuation guidance information, and valuable materials as per the Museum Act. According to this act, as of 2022, there are 1,194 museums. So museum is recognized as such only after meeting requirements set by relevant law. So within the presence of law, the relationship among various elements, such as artifacts, curatorial staff, facilities, are defined and organized. This depicts the actor network of the Lee Kun-hee collection donation, developed with reference to Latour's diagram. From the perspective of A&T, this donation is a result of a temporary assemblage influenced collectively by a series of entities, including Inheritance Tax Act, the donated artifacts, receiving museums, the heirs, Lee Kun-hee, the Ministry of Culture, Samsung Group, etc. And now let's first examine the law in the context of these relational effects. Law as a human created construct inherently carries a sense of compulsion and is often considered obligatory to comply with. However, the action of donating the Lee Kun-hee collection cannot be seen as entirely controlled by the law as a singular actor. Even if
Sorry, I'm
the
so
law,
sorry. You have 5 minutes left.
yeah, okay. Imbued with predefined meanings, it can unfold in unexpected ways due to its relationship with other actors within the network. The action of the law can be better understood when a social dimension is added. For example, the law is merely written text, and its realization requires the presence of a lawbreaker and extent of the crime and a victim. Only then is the law actualized. And despite the 60 pieces of nation-designated assets being exempt from the inheritance tax, the heirs chose to include them in the donation list. This decision was not solely due to the influence of a single actor, but was the outcome of the simultaneous and continuous agency of multiple actors. This decision is a result of a human actions, but also an exertion of agency of the artifact themselves. Their significance and presence exerted influence, ultimately contributing to their inclusion in the donation list. At this point, the agency of objects does not imply that the object themselves have will and generate outcomes autonomously. Instead, it emerges when constructed within a network with other actors. Things possess power to influence human behavior. Alfred Gell argued that the power of things manifests through the technological skills of humans reflected in the aesthetic attributes of the objects and affecting their users. The cultural artifacts created by our ancestors using the most advanced technology of their time, served as apt examples of Dell's assertion. From the perspective of ANT, attention can be given to the agency of donated artifacts as much as the human actors who donated them. And meanwhile, the agency of the recipient institution also played a simultaneous role in a heir's decision to donate. For instance, despite the significant importance of Korea Buddhist painting in Korean art history, the National Museum of Korea did not possess any Goryeo-era Buddhist painting due to their rarity. This situation of NMK lacking such valuable pieces likely influenced the heir to include these paintings in their donation. So in this network, there is no central point, and the agency is distributed. And next, musealization. The donation of the 23,000 private collection pieces marks their transition from the pre-existing network of Lee Kun-hee's personal collection to forming new networks with 7 museums collections. This network is an entity in continuous flux, perpetually undergoing transformation through the integration of new actors and the departure of existing ones. Musealization implies placing in the museum or transforming a center of life into a sort of museum. This concept goes beyond merely moving object into the physical confines of a museum. It involves a change in context and through the processes of selection and display, the status of the object changes. From the standpoint of the donated artworks, this status change due to musealization can be seen as a gain of power through forming different actor network. The transition from a possession of an individual into national property allows for greater public engagement. While the physical and material aspects of a work remain the same, its existence changes post-donation due to the altered network it is part of. The donation process leading to musealization allows the Lee Kun-hee collection to interact with new actors, such as existing museum collections, larger exhibition halls across the country, curators, display methods, and wide range of visitors.
I'm so sorry you have exceeded the time, so could you please wrap up in 2 or 3 minutes?
Okay. So as shown in these 2 paintings, there is almost no change in their external appearance. However, from the perspective of ANT, they are not just same paintings, but can be seen as networks of countless interconnected actors. In the paintings from 1751, the element of Lee Kun-hee cannot exist within that network. Whereas in painting from 2023, even though Lee Kun-hee has passed away, he's present within the actor network of the painting. And these 3 aspects represent distinct beneficial outcomes of the musealization process. The first is the integration with cutting-edge technology. The second relates to the preservation of collection. And the third involves circulating exhibition both nationally and globally. And museum artifacts can be considered as material semiotic actors because they embody both physical properties and symbolic meanings. In the context of a museum, an artifact is not just a physical object, it also carries cultural, historical, and artistic significance. These aspects contribute to the way artifacts interact with and influence human actors, the museum space, and the broader cultural narrative. So the conclusion, using ANTS framework, this study explore explore the donation of the century, shifting the focus from the traditional belief that it's driven entirely by human actors to examining the comprehending the role of non-human actors, such as law and donated artifacts that make other actors do unexpected things. Egonhi's donated artifacts, now as part of a national collection, expand their meaning through continuous interaction with the public. From the A&T perspective, the actor network is a constantly changing open verb, connecting with different layers of actors who attempt new translation. This process reveals a complex network of symmetrical hybrid entities, uncovering a new ontology for museums. Yeah, this is it.